Christianity says turn the other cheek to aggression, submit to the evildoer. What did our founding fathers do? They said, give me liberty or give me death. They weren't turning the other cheek. They weren't loving their enemy. They weren't obeying their emperor. They weren't rendering unto there was a tax rebellion. Nothing could be more antithetical to the entire theme of the New Testament than what the founding fathers did. More than that, they set up a secular government, the first truly secular government in world history, where all governments before, kings and whatever, had some religious, some official church state, church that would provide moral legitimacy to the state. Unto this day, the King of England is supported by the Church of England, which is the official church of Great Britain. America said no. Secular government, no established religion, free exercise. It was a profoundly secularizing revolution in government. That's why the Catholic Church and why the Anglican Church officially opposed the American Revolution.
We understand that movement had to happen, especially in Hollywood. People use positions of power to abuse others, and that needs to be exercised out of our system. But there was a mantra going on during that movement that I thought was very harmful, which is just believe women. No, you don't just believe anybody. You have to produce evidence. You have to show us that what you're saying is credible. Assertions and accusations don't fly in a free country, particularly when the person you're asserting these things about or the person you're accusing can lose their career, lose their livelihood based on just the things that you say.
Integrity is the recognition of the fact that you cannot fake your consciousness, just as honesty is the recognition of the fact that you cannot fake existence. That man is an indivisible entity, an integrated unit of two attributes, matter and consciousness, and that he may permit no breach between body and mind, between action and thought, between his life and his convictions. That like a judge, impervious to public opinion, he may not sacrifice his convictions to the wishes of others, be it the whole of mankind shouting pleas or threats against him. That courage and confidence are practical necessities. That courage is the practical form of being true to existence, of being true to truth. And confidence is the practical form of being true to one's own consciousness.
It is appropriate to have some compassion for the fact that people who were born into this way of life, breaking out of it is like beyond most of their rationales. It's like, not only have they not, like they wouldn't know how to begin contemplating that, but like the world outside, the secular side of town, is sort of lacking in spiritual values. And that's kind of where we come in, quote unquote. We, students of Ayn Rand, objectivism, people who appreciate romantic art, romantic realism, egoism as an ethical code, the virtue of independence, like who are kind of inspired by the image of Howard Rourke in The Fountainhead. Like there is a secular alternative to religion that has spiritual value, like has spiritual values, and that's just something that the secular culture needs to embrace.
To be alive is to be engaged in activity, right? And to perfect that activity, which is what psychological perfection amounts to, right, is to be engaged in certain kinds of activity in a certain way, right? And so I would say perfection is fundamentally about, or I don't know if fundamentally, but a really profound aspect and symptom, if you will, of, okay, well, how close am I to perfecting my psychology for purposes of the life I want to live? It's, you gauge it by how you approach things and by the extent to which you're on a growth trajectory, the extent to which you are challenging yourself and trying things out. And part of what that will look like is that you're getting rejected and you're failing a lot and you're noticing blind spots that you didn't know you had until, but by definition, right? They are blind spots until you notice them. And there are new ones that you notice each time because you're constantly pushing yourself further and you're trying to, reach that next destination and that next level of mastery, or you're exploring the next frontier that's, exciting and interesting and new for you, partly because you haven't already mastered it, right? Like, you're really engaged in living. And that looks so different from the way that I think people conventionally think of perfection, which is almost like a static state of, I am, either a perfect Buddha or a perfect, Platonic form that needn't act or move, right? Because I have achieved this magical final state. Like, by definition, that's death, right? By that definition, the only kind of perfection is death.
We're born in sin. A day can't go by where we can't sin. Jesus said, you've heard it said, thou shalt not commit adultery. I tell you, if you lust in your heart, you've already sinned. You've heard it said, thou shalt not kill. I tell you, if you feel anger, what kind of a chance does that give us? What human being goes through a day without feeling some anger or lust, perfectly natural human emotions, and yet you've already sinned? Perfection is impossible. Living up to this ethics is impossible. Compromise is built in. So I guess we can put up with rich people just so long as they understand that it's their function to help the poor and give it all back to the poor, and realize that their corrupt greed is what got them rich in the first place, and they should feel guilty for it. So long as our productive rich people feel guilty and are eager to hand it all over to the poor, that's okay, because we're all sinners and compromisers anyway. We have to be. It's built into the religion. No one is morally pure in Christianity.
When you make your New Year's resolutions, choose goals, not values, so-called actionable items, things that you can actually take steps to achieve. And once you've achieved them, you have achieved them. Not, well, I'm going to have more money. No, make it specific, make it concrete. I'm going to achieve a net worth of, say, $100,000. Including a fully liquid $5,000 rainy day fund, not get skinny or get buff, but specifically, I'm going to drop my weight to 120 or 220, depending on where you're at. Work up to a set of 50 push-ups or 450 pounds on the leg press. Not find a boyfriend or a girlfriend, but meet new people. Via internet groups or work events, in-person special interest groups, or dating apps. But specifically, meet new people and go out with somebody at least once a month. Doesn't have to be the love of your life. Just get out there and have a cup of coffee. That's how it happens. You can call them resolutions to firm up your resolve, but resolve to achieve specific goals.